guys, it's Kez. Today I want to talk about gratefulness, which is something that I've been practicing for the last 6 months or so, and I feel has completely changed my life. Around 5 years ago, I used to think I was grateful, but having gone through a bit of a turbulent time, I now realise that I wasn't fully grateful and fully appreciative of everything that I had. So I want to talk about what happened with my family the last 5 years, and not because I want to share a sob story with you guys, not at all. I am very lucky, and I know that there are people going through and people that have gone through a lot worse than we have as a family. But just to show you guys how I reached a point of full gratefulness. So around 5 years ago, my family were living a very healthy and happy lifestyle. We had this awesome big house in Surrey that we all lived in, and nothing tragic had ever really happened to any of us. Around Christmas time, my granddad on Christmas Day went to hospital and then rapidly declined, and in July of that year he passed away. And he was one of the greatest people I've ever known. Then October of that year, 2 of my brother's best friends passed away in a tragic car accident, and that had a huge impact on the whole community, including my brother and my family. About 6 months after that happened, my other granddad on my mum's side became really ill, and my mum felt the need to go back to England to be with him. We all actually went back to England initially, and within about 6 months of my mum giving up her house and her career, the real estate market in Canada went crazy, and our house value shot up a couple $100,000, and her career in real estate boomed, and they ended up losing hundreds of thousands. But worse yet, my mum's father passed away, and the stress of everything caused my mum, who had always been very healthy, her health started to decline. She was in and out of hospital probably 8, 9, 10 times. Started with like severe nosebleeds to the point where they couldn't stop the blood. And she had a couple procedures and ended up having an operation. And then once we thought all that was sorted, she then started having heart attack symptoms that turned out to be gallstones, and she was in and out of hospital with that, and then had to have another operation. During that time, my brother and I and my stepdad had all come back to Canada for different reasons, and my mum was left in England on her own. She'd taken her whole life over there, her animals, like given up everything, and she'd also taken over her dad's business, which she promised she would do, and it was quite a mess, and she ended up putting so much time and energy and lots of money into this business, and it kind of kept her there for a while, but she ended up feeling stuck there, and a lot of bad stuff happened with the business. She got involved at a very vulnerable time with a business partner that it didn't end up being a good decision, and yeah, they lost more money, more stress. I saw my mum, who was by far, and still is, strongest person I know, unbelievably strong. I saw her at such a vulnerable state, and that, probably above everything, was the hardest thing for me personally. So, as well as that, there were other things. They got in a car accident which screwed both of their backs up. My dad had a knee injury, and he owns his own business, and that was their only source of income, and he ended up not being able to work for months, so they just struggled. It was just struggle after struggle. It's a little ridiculous. It was like, what's gonna come next? Like, bring it on kind of thing. But it was the hardest time of my mum's life. She was absolutely broken at some stages. Alongside all of this, from the very beginning, one of the closest people in my life became seriously depressed. And obviously that above everything else is terrible to deal with, because there's nothing you can do for that person. And me being someone who had always had problems in the past that I could solve, suddenly had these problems that were way too big and completely out of my control, and my anxiety like skyrocketed. I had anxiety attacks, I had loads of time off work, which made me feel worse, and I would dwell on it all, and it just saddened me, the extent of it, and that I couldn't help these people, I couldn't do anything about it. And I actually couldn't talk about these things very often, unless I'd had a couple of drinks. It felt like our family had failed in a way, and this idealistic life that we had crumbled. And we were no longer this family unit. All we ever needed in life, because whenever bad things were happening, we had this family unit, and that had just separated. We were in different countries, we were all going through different things, and it was very hard. And I just remember feeling very hard done by, and as though like my family don't deserve this, which in reality is just a ridiculous way of thinking, and it actually got me nowhere. So at the moment, basically all this stuff is still happening. My stepdad is homeless, he sleeps on his mum's couch. My mum is still stuck in England. The person closest to me is still very depressed. And yeah, it's all still going on. But what has changed is my attitude towards it, and also my family's attitude towards it. So that's what I want to share about how I became grateful. So like I said, my family's still in this situation. We still have to work very hard at staying positive. My parents are still apart. My mum's still away from her kids. My mum and my stepdad have to work really hard at making their marriage work so far away. And I don't know when this will be over. What has changed though is all of our mentalities towards everything. It has completely changed who I am. What happened is a very dear friend gave me a book. And if you guys want to know what book it is, just reach out to me, I'll send it to you. But she gave me a book that I started reading, and it spoke about gratefulness, which I obviously know about, but I actually started to listen. I kind of needed it. And I started reading a lot more, I started meditating, I started practicing mindfulness and gratefulness, and I actually wrote out a list of things that I'm grateful for, which I try and check every morning, but you know, it's in here. And I just started seeing everything differently and accepting that these things had happened, and maybe then they can't be solved, especially not right away, but being accepting of it and not letting it affect me day to day, but most of all being grateful for what I have. I still have my incredible family. We've had the most amazing time the past 5 years, despite everything. We went on a road trip around Ireland in a van where we listened to Irish songs and we laughed, and like just unbelievable memories. And we went to the Rockies, and every time we're together, it's never ever been better. Every moment, this is gonna make me cry more than the bad stuff. Every moment that we're together, I cherish, and we laugh more and we sing more, and like we're like the Brady Bunch or something. Like, I always appreciated my family, but I am just so happy for them. And I like to think that everyone has something in their lives that makes them as excited as I am right now talking about this. And being grateful for that changes everything. I couldn't care less about material things. I have, in my opinion, the best family in the world. And that's all that mattered. That's all that ever mattered. And to see that is such a blessing. I have everything that I ever needed, and we're closer than ever, and we all have this true gratitude and appreciation, and that, I think, brings peace of mind, where I probably never had it before, and I probably would have never have had it before. And it's completely changed me as a person and what I want from life, and I found this amazing partner, Tom, my partner, who supports and encourages me, and he was found in all this big mess of everything. And I've learned that money really doesn't bring you happiness. It brings you kind of security and freedom in a way, but there's no reason to idolize money or these material things. I've also learned who truly supports you, which is an amazing lesson to have, because you start to appreciate those people more, and you kind of learn also the people that kind of are happy to see you fail, and that's a good lesson too, right? I live life more fully, and knowing that things can change at any minute, it just gives life more meaning. I love more, I worry less. I've pushed myself to this point where I've actually started fixing things like my anxiety and becoming who I truly am, which is part of what these videos are, right? I've learnt lessons, and I'm just excited. I'm so excited for the future. I'm not scared of it anymore. I've overcome some stuff, and I know that I can, and I know that I'm strong, and I know that I have my family and they're healthy, and we can be happy, and we have everything we need, and I am so grateful for that. I'm not someone that believes that everything happens for a reason, but I do believe that in a lot of seemingly bad situations, not all bad situations, but a lot of them, you can find some positivity from it. You can take something from it. A lot of those things that I just mentioned, I look back on now and I see how that's made me grow, the value in it, and I can sincerely say that at this point in my life, I have never ever been happier. I'm still dealing with some things. There's still a lot that I can't fix, and I probably won't be able to fix, but gratefulness has made me find peace of mind. And I'm so glad that I went through all of that stuff, or most of that stuff, in order to find that. So I don't suggest going through a bunch of crap in order to do it, but if you can find a way to find true gratefulness and practice it daily, just list a few things that you're grateful for and really feel it. That's the key, not just listing it off like like you're just telling yourself a story every morning, but really feel it, then it can honestly change your life.